You've probably noticed this moment before when he first slides in, but only just the tip. The way his whole body tenses, the way his breathing shifts, the way his eyes close for just a second as if he's overwhelmed by something he can barely control. Sometimes he even stops right there, groans or whispers something like, "Wait, just give me a second." And you're left wondering, why does that moment, that tiny fraction of penetration, feel so powerful for him? Why does just the tip make him lose his composure in ways full on sex sometimes doesn't? Here's what you need to know. That moment isn't an accident. It isn't him being dramatic. It's biology, it's psychology, and it's raw desire colliding all at once. When he's at the tip, he's at his most sensitive, his most vulnerable, and his most desperate for more. And when you as a woman understand this, when you realize how much influence you hold in that single moment, you suddenly unlock a whole new level of control in the bedroom. And let me ask you this, why would you ever rush past that? Why would you give him everything in an instant when you could make him crave you, beg for you, and remember you as the woman who drove him insane with just an inch? Today, I'm going to give you the 5 powerful reasons why he feels so good with just the tip, and how you can use that knowledge to not just turn him on, but completely capture his mind, body, and desire. Stay with me until the very end because you're about to learn the secret to making him addicted to you. The first reason he feels so good with just the tip is simple but profound. It's because the tip is his most sensitive part. And I don't just mean, oh, it feels nice there. I mean, it's his epicenter of sensation, the nerve-packed, pleasure-loaded core of his body. The head of the penis, the glands, is absolutely flooded with nerve endings, more than any other area of his manhood. Think about that for a moment. If his entire length is like a piano, the head is the high note that vibrates through everything, the one that rings the loudest. So when you give him just the tip, you're giving him the most explosive sensation he can possibly feel. That's why he reacts the way he does. That's why he tenses, moans, or even loses control. You're touching the one spot that can undo him instantly. Now, here's where most women get it wrong. They think the deeper he goes, the more intense the pleasure. And yes, depth has its own thrills, but sensitivity doesn't live there. Sensitivity is right at the surface, right at the head, which means you don't need to rush, you don't need to go fast, and you don't need to give him everything for him to feel everything. Have you noticed how he gasps the moment he first slides in? That's not about depth. It's about that sudden wave of sensation hitting his most delicate point. That's his body saying, I can't handle how good this feels. So imagine what happens when you decide not to rush past it. Imagine keeping him there, just letting him feel the slow brush, the teasing pressure, the gentle stretch of being only halfway given what he wants. Do you realize the kind of control you have in that moment? You can make him beg without saying a word. You can make him lose his rhythm, break his composure, and forget every thought in his head. Why? Because you've hijacked his most sensitive point and you're refusing to let him escape the intensity of it. Here's what's so fascinating about men. They like to appear in control, dominant, powerful, but sensitivity is vulnerability. And when you play with just the tip, you're forcing him to surrender to that vulnerability. His body betrays him, his muscles tense, his voice cracks, his breathing shudders, and there's nothing he can do to stop it. That's why this moment is so powerful for you as a woman, because it shows you just how much sway you have over him. 1 inch, one nerve-packed zone, and you can reduce him to nothing but desire. Think about how thrilling that is. You don't have to perform some acrobatic move. You don't have to do anything complicated. You just have to understand that this is where his body feels the most alive. And when you lean into that knowledge, you stop seeing sex as a race to the finish line and start seeing it as a game of tease, a dance of sensation, a way of making him ache so much he can't forget you. Doesn't that sound like more fun than just letting him have everything right away? And let's be honest, ladies, haven't you noticed how when he's at just the tip, his energy changes? He might grip your hips tighter. He might whisper something he wouldn't normally say. He might look at you with a kind of raw hunger you don't see any other time. That's his body talking. That's his sensitivity speaking louder than his pride. He's saying, without words, this is driving me insane. And the best part, you're the one creating that insanity. So the next time you're with him, remember this, his most sensitive part isn't hidden deep inside you. It's right there at the tip. And if you know how to play with it, if you know how to slow down, tease, linger, you'll unlock a level of control and power most women never discover. Don't waste that gift. Use it. tease him with it, and watch as he falls apart in your hands. The second reason he feels so good with just the tip is anticipation. And ladies, if you don't already know this, let me tell you right now, anticipation is one of the most powerful aphrodisiacs on the planet. Think about it. When something is almost within reach but not quite there, our desire for it skyrockets. It's the same with food, with gifts, with anything in life, and especially in intimacy. When he's just at the tip, he's teetering on the edge of everything he wants. But he hasn't been given full access yet. That waiting, that aching drives him absolutely insane. Now here's where your power comes in. Most women rush. They let him slide in all the way in an instant because they think that's what he wants. But ladies, you have to understand his mind is screaming for more the moment he feels that first inch. His body is begging. And when you deny him, even for a few seconds, you're turning the heat up higher than you realize. Have you ever noticed the way his hips try to push forward instinctively, the way he tries to take more without asking? That's not him being impatient. That's biology. That's anticipation turning him into a man who cannot think straight. This is the same reason teasing works so well. A kiss that lingers before the tongue comes in. Fingers that trace his skin before they grip harder. A whisper before a moan. Every little delay makes the final moment hit like a tidal wave. When you give him just the tip, you're teasing his body, stretching out that moment of denial, making him want you more desperately than if you just gave him what he thought he wanted right away. Here's the psychology behind it. Anticipation builds dopamine. Dopamine isn't the chemical of satisfaction. It's the chemical of wanting. And when you keep him waiting at the tip, you're flooding his brain with dopamine. Make him addicted to the chase, addicted to the promise of what's coming next. You're not just giving him pleasure, you're wiring his brain to crave you. That's the secret most women never realize. It's not about giving him all the pleasure instantly. It's about making him want it so badly that when you finally let him in, it feels 10 times better than it would have otherwise. Now ask yourself this: when was the last time you slowed him down? When was the last time you didn't just let him have what he wanted, but made him wait for it? Did you notice how it changed his energy, how much more desperate, how much more passionate he became? That's anticipation at work. That's you turning sex into a game of tension and release, and trust me, men go crazy for it. Here's the secret. He might act like he hates it, but deep down, he loves it. That groan of frustration, that little curse under his breath. That's his body saying, I can't take this, while his mind is secretly addicted to the torment. The longer you make him hover at the edge, the bigger the payoff when you finally give in. He doesn't just feel relief, he feels ecstasy, and he remembers that. He remembers you. So don't underestimate the power of anticipation. Don't rush. Don't give him everything too quickly. Draw it out. Make him wait. Play with that moment. Because when you do, you're not just giving him pleasure, you're making him crave you like nothing else. And ladies, that's the kind of craving that keeps him coming back, keeps him obsessed, and keeps him thinking about you long after the night is over. The third reason he feels so good with just the tip, because it puts you in complete control. And let's be honest here, ladies, control is one of the sexiest dynamics in intimacy. Now, of course, he might look like the one on top. He might even try to act like he's leading, but when you keep him at just the tip, the truth is undeniable. You are calling the shots. You're the one deciding when, how fast and how deep. You're the gatekeeper, and his entire body knows it. Have you ever noticed how desperate he becomes when you do this? He might press his hips forward. He might plead with his eyes. He might whisper things like, please, or just a little more. That's him realizing he doesn't actually have the power in this moment. You do. And the irony is, men love this far more than they admit. They love the chase. They love the tease. They love when a woman makes them feel like they have to earn every inch. Because when you finally give it to him, it feels like a reward, not a right. Now think about how intoxicating that dynamic is. You, as the woman, get to hold the reins. You get to dictate the pace. You get to control how long he stays in that torturous, overwhelming moment where he's at his most sensitive. And ladies, doesn't it feel powerful to know that one small decision from you, holding him at the edge, can turn this strong, confident man into someone begging for your permission? That's not just sexy, that's power. Here's the deeper psychology. Men are used to being in control in their daily lives. They make decisions at work. They lead. They push, carry that masculine role. But in intimacy, when you flip the script and hold back, when you keep him at the tip, he experiences something rare, surrender. And that surrender is addictive. It's not weakness, it's liberation. For him, it's a relief to give up control to someone he trusts and desires. That's why he doesn't just enjoy the moment physically, he craves it emotionally. You're not just pleasing his body. You're creating a psychological experience where he's giving himself over to you completely. And here's a question for you. When was the last time you actually leaned into that power? When was the last time you realized that instead of just lying there or following his lead, you could set the rules? Imagine how different the energy would feel if you said, not yet, or if you slowed him down right when he wanted to speed up. Imagine the fire in his eyes when he realizes he has no choice but to wait for you. That's not just sexy, it's unforgettable. Now, let's be clear, control doesn't mean being cold or withholding. It means being playful, teasing, commanding in a way that keeps him on edge. It's the art of giving him just enough to drive him wild, but not enough to let him settle into comfort. That's how you keep him hungry. That's how you keep him hooked. And when you finally let him in deeper, the gratitude, the release, the explosion of energy he feels, it's multiplied by 10 because he knows you allowed it, not him. So the next time you're together, try this instead of rushing. Pause with him at the tip. Look him in the eyes, smirk, maybe even whisper, not yet. Watch how his entire body reacts. Watch how his grip tightens, how his breathing changes, how his eyes darken with need. In that moment, he knows he's yours completely. And that's why he feels so damn good, not just because of the sensation, but because he's surrendered, because you're in total control, and because nothing turns him on more than that. The fourth reason he feels so good with just the tip is the stretch of your entrance. Ladies, listen closely. This part of your body is his ultimate temptation. The opening of your body is the tightest, most sensitive place he can slide into. And when it's only the tip, that's exactly where all of his attention is. It's not about depth here. It's not about how far he goes. It's about how intensely snug, warm, and overwhelming it feels right at the start. Think about it. When he first presses in, the muscles around your entrance are hugging him with a grip he can't escape. That squeeze alone is enough to make him shudder, groan, even stop moving altogether. Why? Because his most sensitive part, the head, is being met with your tightest point of resistance. It's the perfect storm of pressure and pleasure, and his body doesn't know how to handle it. That's why sometimes he'll gasp or even whisper something like, "God, you're so tight," before he's even fully inside. He's not exaggerating, he's overwhelmed. Now, here's the secret. When you hold him there, when you keep him at the entrance and don't let him go deeper, you're magnifying that pressure. You're making him feel the most intense part of your body wrapped around the most sensitive part of his. And ladies, that's a recipe for making him lose his mind. Because here's what he's thinking: if just this feels so good, what's it going to be like when I get more? That thought drives him wild. You're not just giving him pleasure, you're teasing him with the promise of even more pleasure. And that combination is devastating. Have you ever noticed how his body almost jerks when he first slides in? That sharp inhale, that moan that sounds like he's trying to hold it together, that's the stretch working its magic. That's your entrance gripping him like nothing else can. And the truth is, if you wanted to, you could keep him there and make him finish without ever going deeper. That's how powerful this moment is. Now, let's talk about control again, because this stretch isn't just physical, it's psychological. When he feels that tightness at the tip, he knows he's being let in. He feels the weight of that permission. And when you make him linger there, you're saying without words, "This is mine to give, and you'll take it at my pace." That makes him not just aroused, it makes him worship you. It makes him desperate for more of you. So let me ask you, why rush through the part of intimacy that's the most overwhelming for him? Why skip over the very moment that makes his body scream with sensation? If you knew that the very first inch was the one that could make him ache, tremble, and crave you endlessly, wouldn't you want to savor it? Wouldn't you want to use it as your secret weapon to drive him crazy? Here's the beauty of it. You don't have to move fast. You don't have to do anything complicated. All you have to do is let him feel the stretch of your entrance while he's at his most sensitive point. Hold him there. Breathe with him. Maybe smile like you know exactly what you're doing, because you do. Watch how his face changes. Watch how his body reacts. You'll see the raw desire, the vulnerability, the surrender. And in that moment, you'll realize you've unlocked one of the most powerful ways to make him obsessed with you. The stretch of your entrance isn't just a physical barrier he pushes through. It's the most intoxicating part of intimacy for him. It's the moment that makes him weak, the moment that makes him desperate, and the moment that makes him remember you. So use it, tease him with it, and never underestimate the power of keeping him right there, trembling with just the tip. The fifth reason he feels so good with just the tip is what I call the mental surrender. And ladies, this might be the most powerful one of all because it goes deeper than his body. It goes straight to his mind. You see, when it's just the tip, he's not only overwhelmed by sensation, he's overwhelmed by the psychology of that moment. He feels exposed, vulnerable, and completely at your mercy. And for a man, that's both terrifying and intoxicating at the same time. Think about it. Men are conditioned to believe they're supposed to be in control, the dominant ones, the ones who take charge. But the truth is, in intimacy, the most thrilling moments for him often come when that control is taken away. When he's at the tip, he knows he can't force more without breaking the rhythm, without risking you pulling back. So in that moment, he surrenders. His mind switches from I'm leading to I'm waiting for her. And that surrender is what makes him feel so intensely connected to you. Now here's where it gets interesting. That vulnerability is rare for men. In his everyday life, he doesn't show it. He doesn't let his guard down at work, with his friends, or even with his family sometimes. But in this moment, when he's just inside you, begging silently for more, he has no armor. He can't fake it. He can't pretend to be in charge. His body betrays him and his mind knows it. And that's why this moment is so memorable for him, because it's one of the few times he gets to experience true surrender. Ladies, have you noticed how his eyes soften in that moment? How his grip on you changes, how suddenly he's not just chasing pleasure, he's asking for it. That's his mind handing you the reins. And when you recognize that, when you lean into it instead of rushing past it, you're not just giving him physical pleasure, you're giving him an emotional experience that bonds him to you. Because here's the secret: men don't remember the mechanics. They don't remember every thrust, every position, every move. What they remember is how a woman made them feel. And when you make him feel this mix of vulnerability, desire, and surrender all at once, you become unforgettable. You're no longer just the woman he had sex with. You're the woman who made him lose control in the most addictive way. So let me ask you, how often do you let him feel that? How often do you pull back and watch him surrender instead of giving in the second he pushes forward? If you knew that holding him at the tip wasn't just teasing him physically, but rewiring his brain to crave you emotionally, wouldn't you want to use that to your advantage? Here's what happens when you do. He starts to associate intimacy with you as something deeper, something more than just pleasure. He feels safe in that surrender, safe in that vulnerability. And safety combined with desire creates attachment. That's how you make him not just want you, but need you. That's how you make him obsessed with you long after the night is over. So don't underestimate this, ladies. The mental surrender he feels with just the tip is the moment where sex stops being physical and becomes psychological. It's the moment where he gives himself to you fully, not just his body, but his mind. And when you master that, you don't just turn him on, you own him completely. So ladies, let's bring this all together. You now know the truth about why he feels so insanely good with just the tip. It's not an accident. It's not just his imagination. It's biology, it's psychology, it's desire, and it's surrender. His most sensitive part is right there at the head. The anticipation you create by holding him back drives him crazy. The control you take when you slow him down makes him crave you more. The stretch of your entrance overwhelms him with intensity. And finally, the mental surrender he experiences bonds him to you in a way he'll never forget. Do you see what all of this means? It means you hold more power than you realize. It means that pleasure isn't just about giving him everything. Sometimes it's about giving him less and making him wait for more. It means that the smallest, slowest, most teasing moves can actually drive him more insane than anything else. And here's the real takeaway when you learn how to use this. You stop being just another woman he sleeps with. You become the woman who owns his desire, who lingers in his mind, who makes him obsessed long after the night is over. That's what just the tip gives you. The power to turn a simple moment into something unforgettable. So here's my challenge to you the next time you're with him. Don't rush. Don't give in too quickly. Pause. Tease. Hold him there. Make him surrender. And watch what happens when he realizes he can't think straight because of you. And if you want to take this even further, make sure you stick around for my next video, because I'm going to show you how to take this exact power and use it to make him beg for more of you in ways he's never begged before. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.